I'm strapped to a cold metal bed in the pack's infirmary, staring at water stains on the ceiling, counting down my final hours. This medical wing sits at the crossroads of several territories, wolves constantly passing through. Yet no one stops for me. I'm invisible. Through the thin wall, I can hear Ryan's gentle voice comforting Vivian in the next room, promising her everything will be all right. My insides feel like molten fire as the wolfsbane ravages my system. My wolf, Luna, severed our connection hours ago, her suffering even more excruciating than mine. The only cure that could save us was just taken next door. My breathing grows shallow, each inhale more difficult than the last. My extremities have gone cold. Eventually, I lose even the strength to blink, and my heart stutters to a stop. The last sound I register is cheering from the adjacent room. Vivian has recovered from the wolfsbane poisoning, at the cost of my life. I refuse this ending. Something, perhaps the moon goddess herself, tears my spirit from my body. I become a ghost, unseen by the living, able to move through solid objects. I drift through the wall and witness Ryan, alpha of the Silver Moon Pack, embracing Vivian tenderly. He kisses her forehead with such gentleness it makes my non-existent heart ache. Though I no longer have a physical form, the pain of betrayal cuts through me like silver. He was my mate, my alpha, my destined other half. I want to scream, to ask if he spared even a moment to worry about me while I fought for my life mere steps away. The answer is obvious in his every action. Ryan had mobilized nearly our entire pack searching for the antidote to save Vivian. In the end, I was the one who found it, risking my life to venture into forbidden territory. To ensure I wouldn't interfere with Vivian's treatment, he ordered his enforcers to confiscate the herbs and lock me away. He refused to listen to a single word I said. He believed I had fabricated my poisoning to withhold Vivian's cure and watch her die. I begged repeatedly, pleading with healers to confirm my condition, but Ryan stripped them of their positions. I won't have liars serving as pack healers, he declared. An alpha's command is absolute. I had no power against his will. As the wolfsbane spread, I writhed in agony while my wolf trembled within me. I had failed to protect her. All I could do was beg through our mind link, Ryan, I won't fight you anymore. Whatever you say is right. Just please give me a small portion of the antidote. I can find more. Without it, I'll die. As his Luna, I had never humbled myself like this before. I thought that if I completely submitted, acknowledged whatever sins he accused me of, he might show mercy for the 3 years I'd been his Luna. I was wrong. He laughed coldly and spoke with cruel finality, enough lies. You conspired with the healers to harm Vivian. As long as I live, you won't escape punishment. You're only saying this to avoid consequences. Even if you did find the herb that saved Vivian, it doesn't erase your crimes. You've tormented her for years. Once she recovers, you'll answer for everything. Don't think death will save you. You'll only die when Vivian forgives you, if she ever does. My lips parted helplessly. Anyone facing false accusations would instinctively deny them, but I had no strength left. I released a faint breath, unable to utter a single word. The wolfsbane was attacking my nervous system. Soon, it would destroy me completely. Ryan didn't care about my silence. His rage consumed him as he spat, "You disgust me." No matter how many times I reached for, I still remembered our wedding day with painful clarity. The ceremony had been grand, the Silver Moon Pack had spared no expense for their alpha's marking ceremony. Lanterns illuminated the sacred clearing as pack members gathered in their finest attire. I wore a gown of silver silk that caught the moonlight, with white moonflowers woven through my hair. Ryan had seemed entranced that night, his eyes rarely leaving mine as we performed the ancient lunar binding ritual. When he pulled me close to complete our marking, his touch was gentle, reverent. "You are the most beautiful she-wolf I've ever seen," he had whispered against my skin before sinking his fangs into the sensitive spot where my neck met my shoulder, marking me as his forever. The bond had flooded my senses with warmth and belonging. "The moon goddess herself brought you to me. You'll be my Luna until the end of time." I believed every word. What I didn't know then was how many pack members viewed our union with contempt. After the ceremony, during the feast, I overheard 3 high-ranking she-wolves speaking when they thought no one could hear. "It should have been Vivian standing there," one hissed. "I can't believe he chose an orphan from Shadow Ridge over her." "Give it time," another replied with cruel certainty. Vivian will return, and this little nobody will see her true place. The third laughed coldly. Did you see how the Alpha's mother barely acknowledged her? She didn't even offer the traditional Luna's blessing. This marriage won't last. I had retreated silently, heartbreaking even on what should have been the happiest night of my life. When I returned to Ryan's side, he seemed distracted, his eyes scanning the crowd as if searching for someone who wasn't there. Even then, I suspect he was looking for Vivian. That night set the pattern for all that followed, moments of perfect bliss shattered by the reality that I was never truly accepted, never truly his first choice. If only I had recognized the signs from the beginning, perhaps I wouldn't be lying here now, dying while he saves another. Him through our link, he never responded again. The room fell silent. I heard my bones cracking as the poison took its toll. And just like that, my love for Ryan shattered like ice beneath summer sun. He cut the link between us. He looked at me now with the same contempt one would give a rabid stray. Ryan returned with the medicine just in time to see my stepbrother Leo Ravenwood, in his massive black wolf form, charging toward him. Leo nearly knocked him over. Ryan stumbled back and cursed. But Leo couldn't hear anything anymore. He stood before my corpse, his amber eyes filled with tears. He reached out to touch my hand but flinched back from the icy coldness. He finally broke down, his voice cracking as he spoke to me. Tiana, why are you lying here all alone? Why didn't you become my Luna when you had the chance? I would never have let you suffer like this. Tears must be contagious. I'd been surprisingly numb since my death, but seeing Leo cry made my own essence ache. Leo was the alpha of the Shadow Ridge pack. If he'd arrived this quickly, he must have crossed dangerous territories without hesitation. Too bad he was still too late. I was an orphan, taken in by the former alpha of Shadow Ridge, Leo's father, Victor Ravenwood, who raised me alongside Leo as his ward. Leo hadn't liked me at first. He used to call me Runt and Stray. We fought constantly. But later, something changed. Every time someone mocked my origins, he was the first to bare his fangs and claws in my defense. I left Shadow Ridge because of Ryan. Victor had taken me in for political leverage, a gift to offer other packs for alliances. I knew Leo cared for me, but I also knew Victor would never permit us to be together. Leaving was the better choice. Leo understood this too, which explained why he'd covered for me when I escaped Shadow Ridge. Run! Run faster! The wind had carried his voice to my ears. That day, I thought I was running toward freedom. But in the end, I still needed Leo to collect my corpse. He carried my body outside and happened to bump into Ryan. Vivian had complained that the medicine was too bitter and wanted honey to sweeten it. Ryan was preparing to journey to a distant pack to trade for the finest clover honey. He had never bothered when I'd merely asked him to bring back some food on his way home. Move! Get out of my way! Leo's voice was sharp and hostile. Seeing Ryan's face now made his blood boil with hatred. There was no chance of politeness. Ryan glanced at the corpse in his arms with an unreadable expression. Instead of confronting Leo, he simply stepped aside. But just as they were about to pass each other, Ryan's eyes landed on my arm. Wait! He frowned and asked suspiciously, who is that you're carrying? I watched Leo anxiously, unsure how he would answer. Part of me didn't want him to reveal my identity. Disappearing from Ryan's world like this seemed fitting. But another part wanted him to know. I wanted to see Ryan's reaction to my death. Leo gave Ryan a cold glance and said, "This is my Luna." Both Ryan and I froze. Ryan knew Leo loved me. He had even enjoyed flaunting our relationship in front of him until Leo eventually stopped visiting. Ryan asked, "When did you take a Luna? Who is she? Why wasn't I informed?" Leo had no desire to waste words on him. "What business is it of yours?" Ryan's temper flared. He sneered. "And here I thought you loved Tiana so deeply. Turns out you've already moved on. So much for your so-called devotion." Leo took a deep breath, his gaze turning icy. "Oh, please. Is there any alpha in this world who loves his Luna more than you love yours?" With that, he turned and left. I knew Leo had said that for me. Ryan knew the truth of his own feelings. Floating unseen, I watched shame and rage twist Ryan's handsome features. For the first time, he looked ugly to me. I placed a spectral hand over where my heart once beat. I realized I didn't love him quite as much anymore. After a month of recovery in the infirmary, it was Ryan who came to escort Vivian home. Vivian's friends and family crowded the room, their eyes widening with excitement the moment Ryan arrived. It's the Alpha of Silver Moon Pack. He must truly care for Vivian to arrive so early. When will she become his Luna? I can't wait. Vivian blushed while telling them to stop. Then she glanced at Ryan and whispered, Ryan already has a Luna. Don't say such things, or she'll be upset with me again. A pack member scoffed. Vivian, you're too kind. If she hadn't interfered, you would have been our Luna long ago. Ryan loves you most. She's the intruder. She's been targeting you since day one. Why hasn't she given up? She's petty and unfit to be Luna. Listening to them, I felt nothing but hollow disbelief. It was Ryan who found me first, recognizing our mate bond immediately. He was the one who requested to mark me, who pleaded with me to be his Luna. If I made a mistake, it was loving Ryan. And yet, the person who should have corrected them, Ryan, said nothing. He allowed them to slander me while busying himself with Vivian's belongings, trying to appear attentive. He had never done such things for me. After our marking ceremony, he claimed to love me, but his actions never matched his words. I told myself he would protect me when I truly needed him. Now I realized he wouldn't. He was the danger. Alpha Ryan, Vivian has refused every suitor all these years. You know who she's been waiting for, don't you? The wolf winked at Ryan, practically begging to witness them mark each other right then and there. Ryan didn't answer. But I knew he agreed deep down. He just wouldn't admit it publicly. He took Vivian to his private quarters. Somehow, he had acquired multiple residences throughout our territory, places I had never been invited to. Every time we argued, he would slam the door and retreat there. Yet, Vivian walked in with such familiarity, as if she belonged. He always bent his rules for her. She was his true love, and I should have seen it sooner. While he prepared the bed, Vivian approached and wrapped her arms around him from behind. She pressed her cheek against his back, clinging to him like a lover reunited after a long absence. Did they even remember I was his Luna? He hesitated, shifting forward slightly as if to create distance. But Vivian tightened her embrace and spoke softly, her voice laced with delicate sorrow. Ryan, I know you've held it against me that I left back then, but I had no choice. My father was dying. The Northern Alpha threatened to withhold the medicine he needed, and I was forced to comply. Even then, I refused his marking. My heart has always been yours. Please forgive me. With the perfect touch of tragedy, she painted herself as the most unfortunate werewolf alive, kind and brave, yet plagued by suffering. Was that why he could never let her go? Ryan chuckled and answered with unexpected frankness, I thought you left because the Northern Alpha was stronger than me. You never asked for my help, you simply vanished. Vivian stiffened. But she was clever. She knew if she shifted the topic to me, he wouldn't press further, for his impatience with me was already obvious to everyone. Her voice trembled as she whispered, I see. So that's what you think of me. You hate me, so you allow Tiana to torment me. Even when she secretly contacted rogue wolves to attack me, even when she hid my medicine while I was ill, hoping I'd die, you did nothing, did you? If this is your punishment for me leaving, congratulations. It's working. My heart aches so much I can barely breathe. Lies. Nothing but lies. I spent every waking moment fulfilling Luna duties for the pack. I had neither means nor motivation to contact rogue wolves. And I didn't hand over the antidote for one simple reason, I needed it to survive. I wasn't selfless enough to die just to save her. None of her claims had evidence. A simple investigation would have cleared my name. But Ryan believed every word. He certainly hadn't ignored her accusations. The moment he heard of my supposed crimes, he called for a public trial. He declared me venomous, wicked, and guilty before the entire pack of betas and omegas. Then he went further, contacting the very rogues she claimed I'd hired. He watched as they dragged me into the dark forest. He watched as they clawed at me and humiliated me. He looked down at my battered wolf form and sneered. He pointed at my fresh wounds and said, these are proof of your treachery. If you ever harm Vivian again, I'll ensure everyone knows what you've done. I lay there on the cold ground, screaming in desperation, insisting I was innocent. Alpha Ryan, why are you doing this to me? He ignored my pleas as if they were nothing but wind. He didn't believe me and only wanted to see me punished. He never told Vivian what he had done to me, which was why she could still play the victim. I couldn't understand his intentions. Was he trying to be some noble protector, standing silently behind Vivian like a guardian shadow? But what confused me more was, if he never truly loved me, why did he mark me at all? Vivian spoke softly, "Can't we leave the past behind and start anew? Ryan, I don't mind that you took a Luna before me, just as I hope you won't hold it against me that I once left you. We both know this was never betrayal, we love each other. We were always meant to be together." She always knew exactly how to win Ryan over. In comparison, no matter how carefully I chose my words to calm his anger, he never paid attention. It was clear where his heart truly resided. Yet, I had clung to the rare moments of tenderness he'd shown me, only to finally see his true nature when I was already dead. He had saved all his kindness and warmth for Vivian. That explained why he was always so cruel to me. The pain in my heart had long since gone numb. Whatever. Vivian could say whatever she wanted about me, and Ryan could hate me all he wanted. I no longer cared. "This isn't the time to discuss this," Ryan said, gently pushing her away. "You should rest." He left without noticing the flash of resentment in Vivian's eyes. He returned to the house we once shared, now shrouded in darkness. Since becoming Luna, no matter how late he returned, I always left a light burning for him, a symbol that this place was home. But now, he frowned as he stepped inside. There was no light and no trace of me. My scent had faded, replaced by the stale smell of dust. He stood motionless for a moment before storming toward my room, shouting, "Tiana, are you throwing a tantrum? Giving the antidote to Vivian was your duty. If you hadn't schemed against her first, she wouldn't have been poisoned. You brought this on yourself, you deserve this." Even now, his voice contained nothing but disgust and accusations. I hovered behind him, sneering. 3 years. I had lived with him for 3 years and been his Luna through it all, yet he still believed the fabricated version of me created by others. Today, he stole the herbs I risked my life to find. Tomorrow, he wouldn't hesitate to take my heart, piece by piece, until there was nothing left of me. Fortunately, I was already dead. The endless days of waiting and despair were finally over. He searched the house for me. Of course, he found nothing. The only thing he discovered was the meal I had prepared for him a month ago. It had rotted beyond recognition, and even I couldn't remember what it had been. All I remembered about that day was the sudden intrusion of warriors bursting in, gagging me, and binding my limbs. That day was supposed to be our marking anniversary. Instead, it became the day I died. And it was also the day Vivian was reborn, finally free of Wolfsbane. While I was being dragged away, struggling against clawed hands, Ryan was probably holding Vivian's hand, assuring her not to be afraid. While I writhed in agony from the Wolfsbane, Ryan was warning the healers that Vivian must survive. So, what exactly was I to him? He called my name repeatedly and even closed his eyes to reach out through our mind link. He rarely used that connection, almost never contacting me first unless it concerned necessary pack matters. But this time, his patience was wasted. I wouldn't answer. His eyes darkened, his wolf momentarily taking control, sensing something was wrong, but he quickly suppressed his unease, pressing his lips into a thin line as he wrote me a letter. "If you see this when you return, know how furious I am to come home to such a filthy mess. Running away won't solve anything, Tiana. If you continue these games, I won't hesitate to reject you." Rejection. That would have been merciful. If I had realized sooner that he never truly loved me, I wouldn't have died such a miserable death. He summoned a pack member to deliver the letter. At the same time, the messenger brought news from Vivian. "She left something at the infirmary. She wants you to retrieve it for her." Ryan agreed immediately. As he stepped over the threshold, he hesitated for just a moment, glancing back at the empty house. But that brief pause wasn't enough to change anything. He still left. He was willing to go out in the dead of night for Vivian, yet he hadn't even asked where I might be. At the infirmary, he encountered a healer's assistant. The assistant had once been the head healer until Ryan stripped him of his position. My death from Wolfsbane had proven he hadn't been lying. He had applied to return to the infirmary but was relegated to assistant now. When he saw Ryan, his expression instantly hardened. "Now you remember you're dead, Luna?" He scoffed. "Her body's already been claimed. No need to trouble yourself collecting it. Ryan froze. His eyes widened before locking onto the healer. Who did you say is dead? The assistant rolled his eyes. You're Luna. Tiana. Of course, if you've already rejected her, just pretend I never spoke. Her wolfsbane had reached her bones, and you still took away the antidote she risked her life to find. If you wanted a new mate, you could have simply said so instead of going this far.